finding out a little more about her life. Thank you, Heather, for inviting me. Last time I spoke, and Heather invited me to the area, it was North Bridgeton, and North Bridgeton Library, so I get to speak to a group there. And then Heather moved over here to Waterford, and she invited me to come here and speak. So now I'm thinking if she would take a job in New York City, she could call me up and say, Walt, come on over and talk. And say, I spoke in New York City. But no, really, we want you to stay. So in the Bridgeton News, there was a little story about how the topic, and I mentioned this to them, I wrote this form actually, the topic really chose me. I wasn't planning to write a book about my mother when this all started. I had written a book, a fun book about going out and bottle digging because it's just a passion. And I realized how much fun it was to write. And after that experience, my friends would say, they'd always say at work, they'd say, you should write more, you should write about this, write about that. We enjoyed your book, Dig Her Down. So I always thought that I would write a book someday, but never knew what the next book would be. Then my mother came up to visit and went to my son's wedding in Naples. And she was going to go, she's from Connecticut, or lived in Connecticut. She came to Naples for the wedding and was starting to say some things that were a little bit odd to me, like don't get too close to the water's edge, you might fall in. And I thought, yeah, that's my mother, always trying to protect me from every little danger. You know, she could see it from a distance. And then the next day she went to North Conway, New Hampshire, and they went out for breakfast, and she fell into this table. She tripped over a little threshold about an inch tall, and fell, and she pulled the customer's table over, and all their food spilled. It was just a big mess. But what happened in that fall was she broke her hip and her leg, a bone in her thigh bone and her hip. And they called us and they said, your mom's been in an accident. She's in the North Conway Hospital. And so we rushed up there and we found out that they weren't going to let her go back to Connecticut. They were going to keep her for about a month during to get some surgery done, get the hip repaired, and then to stay locally for rehab. And she was devastated. I went up to see her, and she had always been a smiling mom. You know, everything. My mother's about 78 pounds, little French woman, stood about, well, you met her, right? Stood about this tall, and always smiling. I don't remember my mother never smiling till the day I went into the hospital and said, Mom, what happened? How did you do? How'd you do this? She was always the one saying things like, in school, elementary school, I used to invite my friends over to hear her talk. And I'd say, hey, you guys want to hear my mother say the word refrigerator? I'd say, okay. So my mother would say, hey, pito. And they would laugh. And I'd say, Mom, show them how you say linoleum. And she'd say, linoleum. If she could say it. She hated saying that word. And so the kids would laugh. And so this is my mother, always, you know, happy, fun-loving, smiling, a little bit misunderstood by a lot of people. But another thing that happened is when my son-in-law was going to get married to my daughter, we went to Connecticut to meet her. And I introduced him to my mother. And I said, Mom, this is Sean. And I said, Sean, this is my mother, Andre. And my mother went over to reach him like this and put her hands on his shoulders and said, can I give you a French kiss? Now he thought, I am marrying your daughter. I don't want to make out with you. So I had to explain, Sean, that means that they kiss on the cheek each time. Like here, 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 right? Anne-Marie's from Paris, she knows. So misunderstood. When she arrived in New York the first time, she had never seen an indoor pool. And my father and her got to New York City, and they got to the pool, and in France, a pool is called a piscine. Piscine? Something like that. Well, we don't call it that in America, but if you don't quite understand and you're a young girl at the counter, and this little French woman walks up to you and says, où est la piscine? And she's, you know, she's in her bathing suit and ready to get in the pool, and you ask this young lady, she thinks, where's the bathroom? So my mother points down that way down the hall. My mother just walks right by the bathroom and into the pool. And I'm sure this poor young lady thought, oh boy, they keep doing this. But one of the more comical things, and I'll just to give you an image of my mother, when I was bringing her home after a visit, after this, I believe it was after the rehab and repairing her hip and her leg, I had to bring her back to Connecticut. and she had a little time to stay at the Bridgeton Rehab Center, a little time with us. On the way to Connecticut, she said, are we going to get lunch? So we pulled into a nice little restaurant right on the water, because I knew she loved looking out at the ocean. For her, looking at the ocean meant she was looking at Europe. She was seeing Belgium and France, and I realized how much that meant to her. She knew she was never going to go back there, but she could look across the ocean and say, there was my home. So we stopped at a restaurant and got out and we ate this nice dinner, and all during the dinner she kept saying, do you think there were pirates here? Do you think there were sea captains? And I said, oh yes, Mom, I'm sure. Yes, we're on the coast of Maine, there were many captains. And she just kept saying, oh, I love that. I love the idea of that. And, you know, I was thinking, you know, Mom is a little bit reverting in a way to a little bit childhood and maybe some of her past memories of war. But so we went to pay, and Mom was standing next to me, and we went to the waitress, the hostess, and I went to pay. And I see Mom turned around, and she's looking at a poster on the wall, and it says Captain Morgan. And she thought, oh. She went up to the young lady at the counter and said, did Captain Morgan live here? And the poor girl, she was like, she's serious. She really wants to know. And I thought, I'm thinking, how's she going to answer this one? So the young girl just said, Captain Morgan lives in all of us. My mother was happy with that. She said, oh, okay. So this is the mom I grew up with and the only mother I knew. Loving, kind, happy, funny. And then that day I walked into the North Conway Hospital, and she was sitting there, and she was a broken woman. And she said, how could God do this to me? Now, my mother had never been negative. Never knew that to be an issue. But that broke my heart. And I thought, ooh, what am I going to say? She's always given me the advice. Now I'm on the other side of the fence. I said, I don't know, but we have to look for the good that can come out of this. And she just kind of reluctantly nodded and said, okay. So Mom began to revert in the hospital, saying things I never heard before, like that. And then there was food on her table, and I said, Mom, aren't you going to eat? And she's down to 78 pounds at this point. And she said, I'm not hungry. And I thought, what do you mean you're not hungry? She said, well, in the war, I learned that if there was no food, we didn't eat. And I said, but we're not in the war. And we have food, and we need to eat. She again said, I can say I'm never hungry. Oh, wow. I can understand that. She used to tell me as a kid that they ate grass soup, and I thought it was a joke. I didn't think much of it. I thought, sure, Mom, you ate grass soup. But now it was starting to get a little clearer to me that the life that she lived during 4 years of occupation when Hitler came into the village of Bouillon, right on the edge of France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. A little town called Bouillon. And that was in a part of the woods and the forest called the Ardennes. So it was one of the first places that the Nazi